All right. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Heartland Institute of Financial Education's Value of the College Coaching Program. I am so excited to spend this, is it the second Monday in June so far? The months seem to go really slow, and then they have just picked up speed like a freight train, at least in my house. So not sure if the rest of you are experiencing that as well. My name is Megan Penley Pickett. I get to serve as the Dean of Education for the College Coaching Program. Was able to start a number of years ago as a coach in the program, and have been able to move into this role and work with all of you. Whether you are a current consultant, I see some familiar names showing up in my feed here. Whether you are people who are thinking about becoming a consultant, if you're a current family or student or a prospective family or student, I am so grateful to be able to share this time with you. So how tonight's event is going to work is that I am going to share my slides with you. So you should be able to see those. If for some reason you are unable to see those, let me know, put something in the chat, that type of thing. And I will do my best to figure out whatever technical glitch that we have with that. I'm going to run through, I'm not going to run, I'm going to leisurely walk through the program with you tonight, go over what our program can offer you, and then we'll save some time at the end for questions and answers. So again, dependent upon or regardless of which audience you are in, we will have time for those questions and answers. So if you have them throughout, you can go ahead and put them in the chat. I probably will not be checking those. I know I will not be checking those until the end because it kind of breaks up the flow of my very, very polished presentation. But we definitely want to make sure that everyone gets their question answered. So at the end, you'll be able to either put that in the chat box. I'm sure everybody's pretty familiar with Zoom at this point in the world. But if you're not, if you hover over the bottom, if you were on a computer, if you hover over the bottom, that's where you can find your chat screen. I believe it's one of the options if you're on your mobile phone where you can swipe to the side and you'll be able to see the chat there. Or, and even better, you'll be able to unmute yourself and be able to ask your question live. Because as I always say, if you have a question, I'm pretty sure other people will have a question as well. So again, thank you so much for joining us. And let me start sharing my screen with you. All right. Hold on one second. You can see on here, I was literally just finishing this, some updates, some information. So here we are, Value of College Coaching Program. We are the Heartland Institute of Financial Education. And who is that? Who's the Heartland Institute? We are a national 501c3 nonprofit organization in the US. And our goal is to promote financial literacy. And we wholeheartedly believe that that begins with our commitment to higher education, to whatever that post-high school plan is going to be. We're going to talk about those options here in a little bit. And really starting to talk about financial literacy and how it can play into higher education and what that means. We don't want people going into debt over this. We want them to be able to maximize their options and really think about that. How are you using your wealth assets, your retirement to fund that education on behalf of yourself or for your student, and talking about that. So we really believe that financial literacy, one of the cornerstones, is starting to talk about higher education and the cost for that and everything that goes into it. So what we provide is a comprehensive plan to work with a college planning coach who works directly with the students and parents, helping you figure out what your best plan is for college or university, what that admissions and financial aid process is, and everything that goes into it I'm going to talk about tonight. And how do we deliver our services? The HIFE College Coaching Program is a fully online program. Services are delivered via email, online meetings such as this, as well as the phone. So we have been able to utilize this time where everyone has been social distancing. Oh, excuse me, my ear keeps itching. Social distancing, not meeting in person. We have been able to really focus on how do we provide the best service to our clients? How do we provide additional resources that are out there for them to navigate all of the changes that are happening both in K-12 education as well as college and university admissions process and what it's looking like on college campuses. Here's all of our contact information. You're going to see it again at the end. But for those of you who haven't joined us for a little bit or are brand new to us, we have a brand new website we are very excited about. collegecoaching.org is dedicated to all things for the Heartland College Coaching Program. So it's going to go into our different options, which I'm going to get into in a little while. It's going to give you that information as well as our contact information. Some reviews of our program, the whole kit and caboodle is on this collegecoaching.org website. And we would love if you liked us on Facebook. You can find us at HIFE College Coaching Program, all one word. Type that in there. That is updated daily with information, articles that's coming out about all of the changes that are happening in regards to COVID-19, the coronavirus, all of the things that are happening with admissions, any of our webinars that are upcoming, you're going to find that information, how to register for that, when it's happening, all on our Facebook group. So here is how you get in contact with us. And so really, the rising cost of college and university is astronomical. The cost of college has risen over 25% in the last 10 years. Now, I don't know about many of you, but I can guarantee that my salary has not risen by over 25% in the last 10 years, right? And so we're really looking at what is this rising cost? What does that mean? How are we going to pay for it? Whether you're the student or the family member or the friend of the family, the guardian that is responsible for taking that on or going to share that responsibility with the student, it's really important to know. The average cost of in-state public institution in the 2019-2020 school year, so just this last school year, is a little over $23,000. Now that's your in-state public institution. So if I live in the state of Colorado, and so if I were to go to, or my children were going to go to University of Colorado, a state institution, this is the average cost. When I say average cost, it's still going to vary between institutions. So you're going to need to check that out. But this is the average cost of an in-state public institution for a 4-year degree. So this is per year. And it's breaking down between tuition, room and board, which is if you're going to stay on campus, what those book fees are, and then there's going to be miscellaneous fees that we don't know about. Sometimes this is technology fee, recreation fee, transportation fees, those types of things. So when you are in the process of looking up what does it cost, what is all that's going into that, it's what we call the net cost of college. You're going to want to make sure that you are finding out. I don't want to call them hidden fees because I think that makes it sound like colleges and universities are trying to pull one over on someone, and I don't think that's the case. What I think is as important is that if you don't know what you're asking, you have to figure out what those questions are going to be. And so just for a few points of reference, so the average cost of in-state public institutions, again, is $23,190. Out of state public, so if my kids were residents of Colorado, we're going to go somewhere in Indiana, which is where I'm from, or California, or something along those lines. For public institutions, it's almost $40,000. And private schools, so regardless of where you hold residency, private schools are private schools. They're going to have the same cost associated with them, regardless of where you hold residency. And so the average cost of private schools, again, with those breakdown of pieces that you see above, those line items, is over $51,000. What's important to know is that the numbers just recently came out that students are graduating with an average debt of over $32,000. And so some of that is obviously going to be higher and lower. This sometimes can be a misleading number because rolled into this are students who are maybe going to an in-state institution, living at home, maybe, maybe having gone to a community college first and then going to a 4-year institution. So this number is actually a little bit lower than what we are seeing, but this is the national average of students graduating with debt of over $32,000. And I don't know about you, but my salary does not make it easy for me to pay off $32,000, almost $33,000 in a short amount of time. So what is the real cost of college and university? One thing to know is that the average time it takes students to graduate with a bachelor's degree in North America, in the US, is 5.5 years. So what is that real cost to the students? 1.5 years of full cost of school. And again, for this particular slide, we're using the numbers for that in-state public institution. So if you're going out of state, if you are at a private institution, you can absolutely see that some of these numbers are going to be higher. So that 1.5 year of full cost of school is over $34,000, almost $35,000. And then you add on top of that the lost wages that students, because when you're staying in college longer, it's hurting your ability to create income, to make income, to get that full-time job, to really be able to start making that income. And so the average income that we are seeing in the US is about $51,000 for entry-level positions in the US after graduating college. So an average lost wage of 1.5 years is over $77,000. So just taking those two together, the real cost of college and university on top of what it costs to attend that extra 1.5 years is really costing close to $112,000 plus the debt that student is incurring when they are graduating later, potentially taking out more loans, taking extra time. And so really you have to think about how much is college planning worth to you? And did you know that there are different types of financial aid? Oftentimes with our program, we're having conversations with families and students and even consultants who are talking about financial aid, and they're really only thinking of maybe 1 or 2 of these things that you're seeing here on the screen. But it's important to know that there's at least 5 different types of financial aid when we are talking about it from the college coaching program. And there's a number of different bullet points that can go under each one that we would get into when you're enrolled in the program. So there's federal financial aid, that's going to be your FAFSA program, your state aid, so that's your Cal Grant. If you're in California, and there's a couple other in other states. State aid is not available in every state, which is important to know. Private scholarships and grants, how to go about doing that, where do I even look for them, how do I find them, how do I maximize my options with them. School-specific aid comes into play once students are accepted to colleges or university. These are the financial aid packages that colleges and universities give. Maybe that's merit-based, maybe that's room and board reimbursement, something along those lines. And loans. Loans are something that you probably don't want to get unless you really absolutely have to. And so you have to figure out, is it a subsidized loan or an unsubsidized loan? Is it a private loan? So there's a lot of different options that are there. So do you know how to maximize your opportunity to find the best options that are out there, how to navigate this and figure out what's best for you and your student? It's a question that you need to have as you're thinking about college planning. That financial piece is not the only piece that goes into college planning, but it is certainly a cornerstone that is going to help determine the options for where that student can attend school. One of the other pain points that we really see is how students are choosing a career and asking, where do I even start, right? Oftentimes students are choosing careers because it's what mom or dad does, or what their uncle or their friends, parents, or family members are doing. And so it's not necessarily based on what that student is interested in. What are their skills? What do they want to do, right? And it's hard to have those conversations with someone who is unbiased, mom and dad. I'm a mom myself. It's hard to have those unbiased conversations and say, oh, you should be a doctor. You should be a lawyer, you should be an engineer, you should be a teacher, whatever it might be. And so it makes it really hard to have those one-on-one conversations with our high school guidance counselors, because on average, our high school guidance counselors are working with 455 students. We have seen that number anywhere from 400 to 700 students that are on a high school guidance counselor's caseload. Now, that's not the guidance counselor's fault. That's the system. That's how it's set up right now. So that is maybe 15 minutes every semester. Maybe it's a little bit more. It's usually a little bit less. So to have those conversations on how do I choose a career which helps determine the trajectory I'm on, those are really challenging conversations to have. And really one of the other questions that you want to ask is, will that career that I'm interested in be available when you graduate? or when I graduate, or what will it look like? What does the technology even mean? I think we're even seeing big changes in industry right now based on what has happened in response to COVID-19. And what does that look like working from home? What does that look like in technology and interacting with people? What does education look like, right? So you really want to dig in and find out, is it going to be a relevant career? Is it something that you want to be doing, not just does it make money, right? Just like it's a piece of the puzzle when you're thinking about going to college, working in how much does it cost to go. That is certainly a big piece of that puzzle, but it's not the only part of it. So making money is obviously a big piece of the puzzle of what you want your career to be. But there are a lot of other factors that go into that. What's a good fit for you? What do you want to be doing? How does that play to your strengths and your skill sets that you want to achieve? And will that career be there? And really thinking about which post-high school option is best. College and university isn't the right track for everyone. And so it may be the right track. You also may want to go into a specific trade or vocational training. We are in the US really looking at big gaps in the trades, in the specific skills around that. And so making sure that that is something, if you want to go directly into, or if the student wants to go directly into the workforce, or take a not a shorter route, but a different route to be able to get into the workforce with a skilled trade, that might be an option. And a lot of students right now are looking at that gap year. That's really that intentional year between high school and the next step, whether that's trade or vocational training or college and university. Oftentimes in the past, we've seen that be studying abroad, intentionally traveling like that, working on a language, getting an intense job or internship opportunity. That's changing somewhat right now, and we're staying relevant with what is going on with that and helping students decide that. But those gap year options and what you can do intentionally with that gap year, those options are changing based on the response to COVID-19. So figuring out again which post-high school option is best. You're going to want to have some of those one-on-one conversations and not just pick something out of, kind of throw a dart at it and figure out what you want to do. Then you're going to want to choose a major. That's another major part, no pun intended, of going to college, of choosing what is next. It's really asking, what are you focusing on? It is connected to your career, but if you don't know what your career is going to be, how do you know what your major is going to be? It's a really hard decision. How are you reaching your goals? 20 to 50% of students starting college or university in the US are starting undecided, and they often aren't making decisions on what that major is going to be into their sophomore or junior year. Now that really can result in taking a lot of different classes, which can have a benefit to it. But if we're unable to pull that together into a degree closer to the end, getting close to our target graduation of 4 years, we can't pull those classes into a degree. You have to spend more time and more money to be in college. 75% of students change their major at least once, with students changing their major an average of 3 times. So 35% of our students change their major an average of 3 times. And again, it's okay to change majors, but if you're unable to piece together a degree out of those changes and it adds up to more time, you're spending more money. College selection. How do you even go about choosing a school? How most students select their school is that their friend went there, or it's their parents' alma mater. It's a party school. Maybe it's close to home or far from home, right? So I want to get as far away from home as possible. So if I live in California, I'm going to school in Boston or Florida or somewhere on the eastern seaboard, right? And if I'm in the middle of the country, I want to go somewhere that has water, right? So, does this sound familiar with how your student might be thinking about, how do I even make my list for colleges? How do I even create that list? Do I go out of state? Do I stay in state? Do I look at private schools, right? Sometimes those numbers of what the cost is can be daunting for people, and they won't even consider a school because of the cost, without doing any of that research. And you never know what you can get in scholarships and things like that. So I'm not saying, you need to go and apply for every single school that's out there. But when you start making your decisions on how many schools do I apply for, how do they fit into my good fit, great fit, and stretch fit schools, you can work with our program on that. But again, if you don't know where to start, and you're really thinking about those fit. What is that fit? Does it have your major? Is it in your price range, right? Or is it something that you want to at least attempt to attain? What's the good fit? Do you want an all male or all female institution? Do you want it far? Do you want it close? Do you want it big? Do you want it small? It's like when we're kids, right? You're learning what opposites are. It's a lot of what goes into college selection, not the opposite piece, right? But asking those questions. Because 25% of undergraduate students transfer schools. And again, when you do that, time equals money. And so your credits may not transfer if you don't do it in the right way, or if you don't make the right decision or an informed decision on where you're transferring to and where you're taking that with you. So you may have to repeat classes. You may have to pay for classes you've already taken. You may need to start sort of from the very beginning. So asking those questions, figuring that out. And again, it can be really daunting to do that on your own. And again, we know our high school guidance counselors are there to help and push out information, but without that one-on-one conversations with the students, with the families, that makes it really challenging. So what is your plan when we're talking about planning for college or university, or we're talking about post-high school planning? What is your plan? And how much time do you have? I love this idea, right? If you are going into 9th grade, and this is really the time of year where students really switch over to, I'm now a freshman in high school, or a sophomore, junior, or senior, right? And so you can see if you're starting 9th grade, there's 720 days until college, right? 4 years. 4 years sounds kind of like a long time. Even 720 days, I'll give you, sounds like a long time. But if you're starting 12th grade, you have 180 days until college starts, right? That's a little over, well, we're talking academic days, so not every single day, right? I was like, wait, let me look at this, do this math really quick. But we're talking about academic days, right? And so this is the time that you have to start preparing, to start making some of these decisions. And so the benefits and where the Heartland College Coaching Program comes in to help answer many of these questions, to help remove that overwhelm, to engage in those one-on-one conversations with the student and with the family, is that one-on-one individualized attention. We help to strategize with the student to maximize academic options in high school. Are you taking the right classes? If you know that you want to go into a specific major, into a specific career, you know that you need to take some specific classes that are in high school. Maybe it's in the math or the foreign language area or something along those lines. Working with your coach really helps you to identify what those classes are. You can bring the information that you have from your high school guidance counselor, pair that together, but again, you're getting that one-on-one individualized attention. We guide students on how to have a well-rounded high school experience. Not only does that make it a richer experience for the student who's not just simply going to school, right? We want them to get involved in things that make a difference to them. Maybe it's a club or an organization. Maybe they're an activist. Maybe they're involved in a religious organization in their community, or they're volunteering, whatever that might be. We want them to start building those richer experiences so they have a richer and fuller life, and it makes them an outstanding admissions candidate. So when we are looking at admissions, when we're talking to admissions officers, they are, yes, of course, looking at GPA. That is one of the major things that they're looking at. But again, to use that puzzle analogy, it's one piece of the puzzle that admissions officers use to put together the decision on behalf of the students. And so GPA is a part of it. Entrance exams, although those are having a different daylight happening right now, right, with COVID-19, and students being unable to take those entrance exams, the SAT and the ACT. Looking at those essays, looking at the transcripts, the letters of recommendation, and what students have done during high school yes, academically, but what have they done outside the classroom to better themselves, to immerse themselves in their community? That's what we're talking about with this well-rounded experience. Our program focuses on hands-on career-focused research. So all of our students, every student who starts, whether they are in 8th grade or 12th grade, they start with our program going through assessments. And so it's through our Cooter platform, and it is a nationally recognized program. And so it really takes into account skills, work values, and what students' interests are. And so it finds the areas and it gives the students some directed places to start. It doesn't pigeonhole them. It doesn't say you have to go into these particular careers, but it does give them a way to start their guided research. And we really truly focus on how do you get that hands-on experience? How are you talking to people in the field? What are you doing to get experiences through internships and jobs? It's better to find out in high school that you may not want to go into a particular career field than when you're halfway through college, right? So we really, really put an emphasis on that. Financial aid navigation, again, those 5 different areas of financial aid, we work with students on all of that. We start developing the databases that will do searches for scholarships that students are eligible for. We start helping them get involved, have those richer experiences, so they are then eligible for those scholarships later on. Also helping students when they are accepted to colleges or universities to navigate, to make decisions on, is this the best financial aid package? Again, it's not the only thing that goes into that decision, but you don't want to go into hundreds and thousands of dollars in debt if you don't have to. So how can you compare and contrast those financial aid packages? These tailored college searches to fit the needs of the student. Again, it goes back to that fit. Does it have the major, and what is the financial responsibility for the student and the family or individuals paying for that? And what type of experiencing are they looking for? What's location? What's going on campus? What does sports and athletics look like? I'm a former director of student engagement at a university as well as an admissions officer. And so I know how all of these things play together. And so it's important to start having these conversations with students as early as possible so they can start thinking about it. So when they get to this point in their junior to senior year transition, they have a really good idea of the schools that they're going to be applying for, so they can focus on that admissions process that they do alongside their coach. And as part of that, we provide essay reviews. Essays are a huge key to what is happening with the admissions process. It's a huge piece of the puzzle on what the admissions officers are looking at. So the Heartland College Coaching Program offers essay reviews for the scholarships as well as for college and university applications. And there's so much more that goes into the Heartland College Coaching Program, but these are some of the benefits that really, really make us stand out in the field. Here are some of our coaching program results just from this academic year. Our students are graduating, students who are engaged in the program. And by engaged, I mean not just simply signed up and receiving emails, but that are engaging with their coach, that are asking questions, that are following the recommendations, that are digging in, that are doing the scholarship search alongside their coach. They are graduating in an average of 4 years. So again, we're keeping that cost down. The scholarship dollars that you see up here, $20 million is amazing, right, for our scholarship dollars. And this is only for our students who have reported into us. As you may know, high school students don't always do what we ask them to do. They don't always report when we ask them, even for exciting things like scholarship dollars, as well as for where they've been accepted into school. And our reevaluation dollars are over $351,000. This reevaluation is key. And it was really key this year, given things that were going on in the world, specifically around COVID-19 and colleges making some different decisions. And it really impacting families and parents on their financial aid. And so reevaluation is a process that you can work through with the coach to, how do I ask for more money from a college that I've been accepted to, or a university that I'm really interested in, and we're in that process. So this is the money that was awarded to our students after they had already gotten their acceptance, after they had already gotten their financial aid package. We were able to, through our program, get our students over $351,000 additional dollars awarded to them. We have reviewed over 2,000 essays, and we've had students that have been accepted into elite summer camps and internships. We had one student who was accepted into an internship at the CDC. Clearly, unfortunately, that student was unable to go to that program this year, given that the CDC, much like everyone else, right, is on lockdown and doing very important work. But that's really important, and that's something that we really focus on in our program, is what are students doing to, again, maximize their high school opportunities? What are they doing to maximize their summer opportunities? What types of internships and summer camps can they get that's going to not just be a resume bullet, but again, is going to enrich their lives. They're going to meet people from different walks of life. They're going to interact with people on college or university campuses, or in real life jobs in areas that they want to be in. So we really focus on that with our students starting in the 9th grade. And here's a list of students, of schools where our students have been accepted this year. This is clearly not all 262 different schools that our students have been accepted into. Hold on 1 second. There we go. Let me get back down to where I was. It's easy to unmute yourself. If there's anything that you can do to keep yourself muted, that's great. It really does create quite a bit of background noise. So let's do this. There we go. So we're back in it. So our students were accepted to 262 different schools this year, including Yale, Princeton, Johns Hopkins, MIT, Georgetown. You can read, but these are some of the places. We also have students that are accepted into Santa Cruz, Indiana University, a number of other schools all across the country, but we wanted to showcase these. Yep, here we go. And here are our, you know what, I'm going to do this. I told you all that I just redid this program, or redid this presentation, and I think I messed up my slide. So I'm going to jump down really quick because I want to tell you about who delivers our program. And our program, our college coaching program, is delivered by our coaches. And so we work with a team of dedicated coaches who are educators with 20+ years in the workforce, maybe on a college campus, maybe working out in industry, but their main focus is working with students. That is why they come to us. That is why they want to do this work, is they are fully invested in making sure that students have the resources, the information, and the support that they need, families as well, to walk through what this process looks like. All of our coaches are fully vetted and trained. They work together as a team. I get to work with them as a team. I was on that team for many years. And so the opportunities that they have to share with one another, to ask those questions on behalf of students, especially, you know, recently with all of the changes that are happening in financial aid and schools closing and making decisions for fall and all of the different things that are happening, we are in constant contact with one another. And again, they are highly trained and student-focused individuals. And so that's their main reason. I don't know if you know this, but people don't go into education to make money, right? They go into education to help people. And our coaches, my coaches that I work with, they want to help people. They go above and beyond to help students reach their goals, help them dig in to really make the decisions that are best for them, so they aren't part of that group that's changing their major so many times that it's a setback, or having to change institutions so many times that it's a setback, right? That they're finding the career path that they want to be on, creating that major, and moving forward with finding the right fit for a college or university that's not going to put them into too much debt at the end. So our coaches are really truly what make us stand out. And so our program options, and for those of you who haven't joined us before, who haven't been with us for a while, we've added some new options. So I want to talk to you a little bit about this. You can also find this information on our collegecoaching.org website, and feel free to take a picture or a screenshot of this slide. But we offer a number of different options. Our comprehensive program is our traditional program that we have been offering since we have started over a decade ago. And this is a 12-month, one-year program that offers unlimited access to your coach. My brain stopped there for a second. Unlimited access to your coach. This includes monthly recommendations, check-in emails, webinars that happen on a regular basis, all of those different things. And then the main piece of that, right, is that it goes for 12 months. All of these pieces that you see here below are things that we touch on in the comprehensive program. We do have payment plans that are available for our program, and it is being offered at a discounted cost of $24.95 right now. So that is a very good deal. The new piece that we just came out with about six or 8 weeks ago is that we have broken our comprehensive program down into smaller options. And so again, our comprehensive program goes through all of what you are seeing on the screen and more. And these individual options focus on their specific area. So these are going to have 4 30-minute sessions with a college planning coach, and it's going to be delivered over 8 weeks at maximum. Sometimes it's going to go a little bit slower, or I'm sorry, sometimes it's going to take the 8 weeks, and sometimes it's going to go a little bit faster. But you can see the costs for these are different. So this may fit for you if you are in an area where you are getting the majority of what you need potentially from your high school guidance counselor, and you just need help on financial aid navigation or the application and essay review or any of these things that are up there, right? And so that's where these options come in. Or if you want to try out the program and figure out, is this what I want? How do I work with these coaches? These may be an option. Again, these options are not for the full year. They're delivered over 8 weeks at maximum with 4 maximum sessions with the coach. You do get the Cooter account, which has that assessment. You have that with all of these options, which is really great. You'll have access to that even once your initial piece of that is done, when your option is up, if you will. With the Heartland College Coaching Program, you still have access to that Cooter account because of your enrollment in the program. You are able to bundle these together. If you bundle the different options together, there is a savings that comes with putting them together. If you were to put all 5 of them together, the price point is going to be higher than those comprehensive programs. I would suggest that if you are looking at these options and looking at putting more than 3 of them together, I would ask you to consider the comprehensive program. It's going to have a better timing for you, and it's going to have a better price break for you as well. But we're really excited about these options, being able to offer more options to our clients, more options to our consultants to be able to share with your community. So again, this information can be found on collegecoaching.org. And so what are your next steps? We're going to get to the questions and answers in a minute. The next step is for you to enroll if you are interested. You can contact the college planning consultant who invited you to this event this evening, or you can follow up with the Heartland Institute College Coaching Program directly. I'm going to give you our contact information in just a moment. You can send us an email, give us a call. When we get to the chat line, I'm going to send you my specific email. I take a lot of these calls and would love to talk with you about what option might work best for you. What are you really looking for from the program? But we want to get you involved in this. Some of you might be on here and you have freshman students, or you are a freshman student, or anywhere up to seniors in high school or beyond. Depending upon what your goal is, we can help. We tailor it to meet the needs of students at that point, right? If we are starting with you in freshman or sophomore year, you are going to get the benefit of being able to plan in advance to get involved in those programs, in those after-school activities in your community, to really make sure that you're taking the right classes and doing what you need to do to talk about how does what I'm doing in high school affect what's happening in college. So we can start those questions and answers and those conversations as early as possible. We do have payment options that are available, or payment plans that are available for the comprehensive program. The individual options that were broken out back here, these are all one-time payments. So there aren't, even if you put them together, it's a one-time payment. But for the comprehensive program, we do have 3 payment plan options that are available. And you can begin working with the coach in less than 5 business days from the time of enrollment. And once we receive that payment, it will be less than 5 business days. Sometimes it's about 2 days for students to get contacted. So you can get started right away, and we would love to start working with you right now. Thank you so very much for being a part of this. I'm going to come out and stop sharing my screen, answer your questions, share some information about some webinars that we have coming up. But if you, again, take a screenshot of this, take a picture of it with your phone. If you want to send us an email, you can do so at hifecpp@hife-usa.org. You can find out this information at www.collegecoaching.org. And you can find us on Facebook at HIFE College Coaching Program. Again, that's where you're going to get a lot of up-to-date information. A lot of value is put in that Facebook group, on that Facebook page. Let me give you the right phone number. I can see that is not correct up there. So it is 303-597-0197. So that 6 is in there as just a bonus number, but don't use it. Our phone number again is 303-597-0197. All right, let me stop sharing and answer what questions I can answer for people. Excuse me. So at this point, I'm going to read some that are in the chat line. You can also go ahead and unmute yourself, and you can clearly see there's nobody else here, but I always say we, the royal we, right? You can ask the question and I will do my best to answer it or to point you in the right direction. So one of the questions on here is, and just so you know, it's okay to interrupt me as I'm reading these questions, so we don't always know when people want to jump in, and it's kind of a funky, can I jump in? Oh, do we have a question that somebody, oh, no. So the first question on here is having a 529 plan a good idea? That's kind of it sounds funny to say it's kind of a personal question, but it can really be beneficial for some students, and it can be hurtful for others. So that would be a part of a conversation on that you would have with a coach on, is this a good idea? It depends upon how much money you have in it, whose name that 529 account is in when it comes to taxes and things like that. So there's a few factors that are going to go into that. So we can't say that it definitively is or definitively isn't, but there's more information you're going to want to get on that piece of it. And so if you want to, so it says, where can I go to apply for a student? So there's a couple of places. If you can go directly to our collegecoaching.org website. There's a place for you to enroll in either the comprehensive program or some of the options, which is great. If you are working with a college planning consultant, there is a place for you to put that individual's name in there. If you are not working with a college planning consultant, I don't believe that you have to fill that in. If you do have to fill it in, you can put my name in there. You just put Megan Pickett. That's perfectly fine. You can do that. If you are a consultant or you are someone who is working with a consultant, there's a way for you to do that through our consultant portal as well. But our collegecoaching.org is probably the most direct way to do that. Do we have a teacher that's good at a dance program? We don't have necessarily someone who is specific to a dance program. We do have coaches who work with students on finding their niche, on figuring out what's the best way to follow their passion. How do they put their portfolio together? How do they utilize their resources? So, so that would not be an issue. How frequently do you guide students who is a senior soon, and do you have fast track services? We don't necessarily have fast track services, but what we do have are coaches who are going to jump in and start working with students. So if we have students that are going into their senior year and need a lot of help, the expectation is that they are going to be willing to engage in that work start doing that research, answering the questions with their coach. So each coach's ability to, or has the ability to work with the student quickly to kind of bring them up to speed. So we don't have anything that's specific fast track, but we absolutely work with students that are going into their senior year. Sometimes in the middle of their senior year, they are signing up. Obviously, that's less time, right? We work a lot of really good miracles. So it's just something to think about, is the timing right? And if that's a question that you have, I'm happy to engage in that conversation as well. But I definitely think that if a student is transitioning from junior to senior year, this is a great time to enroll in the program, especially if that student is ready to engage in the work that is necessary. Are we going to share this webinar in the HIFE Facebook? And I'm not quite sure. So we've had some issues. The hope is that yes, that we will be putting this out there, and we've had some issues with our recording sometimes. So I am recording. My hope is that it will continue to record and we'll be able to transfer that. Is entering 9th grade too late? Absolutely not. That's the perfect time to enter. All of them are good times. We have programs, we have places where students will start to get in that regardless of what their age is. But 9th grade is a really great place to start because it's right at the beginning of high school. So our coaches can really work with that student to set out what's your academic plan, what are you getting involved in, how are you building those relationships with your teachers and your advisors so you can have those letters of recommendation when you come to college admissions as well. Is there a part on the portal that gives the WFG the option to refer clients? So I'm going to work back a little bit from that because the question is really a lot about the referral piece of that. And so you can refer clients if you're not going to be enrolling them. We ask that you send them to the collegecoaching.org. And if you will be, as a consultant, you are required to be a certified college planning consultant. If you're interested in that, you can reach out to me. We have a program to become a certified college planning consultant for $49. Once you have gone through and received your certification, you are able to enroll and refer students and families. And when you do that, you are then eligible to receive the referral fee, and that goes through the grid for WFG. So that would be dependent upon that hierarchy there. How early can you get a 529 plan? Again, that's you can start doing those almost at any point in time, but again, you're going to want to make sure that that's a good decision for that particular student. Is there a payment plan for the comprehensive program? Yes, we have 3 payment options for the comprehensive. So the comprehensive is the 1-year, 12-month program. And the options are you can pay all at once. The other option is that you can go to 10 monthly payments of $285. And then the third option is I believe you have a down payment of $999, and then you pay I had this in my brain at one point, but then you can pay 3 monthly installments after that to be able to make up that difference. So that we do have 3 of those. And when you get into the enrollment piece of that, that is laid out in the contract and the enrollment information. What is that's a great question. What's the ratio of coaches to students? Our ratio, I'm going to make a note of that. Always what happens, right, when you just put together a program. So our ratio is 1 student so each of our coaches has about an average of 65 students on their caseload. So again, the national average is 455. Our average is 65. So again, they're getting that one-on-one individualized attention. So thank you. That's a great question. So what's the major differentiation of the Heartland program compared to others in the market? I'm biased. So for the first part of my answer, I'm biased and say it's really our coaches. Our coaches come to us because they want to help students. So they are really, truly student focused and they work together as a team. My unbiased answer for that is that we are a nonprofit organization. And so we are not looking to make money, to give to shareholders, to be able to put cash in our pockets, right? Our goal is to be able to bring this to as many people as possible with our mission of financial literacy, starting that with the idea around higher education, the cost of that, what's the best option. So because we're a national 501c3 that is recognized by a consortium of colleges and universities in the US, that really does set us apart from other organizations that are offering college planning. So the referral fee, again, is going to be, it's anywhere between $500 and $700 is the commission. But again, that's going to go through the grid for in WFG. So that's going to vary based on your level in WFG. With the coach promised to respond to a student within a certain period of time. Our coaches respond to students within 72 business hours. And so our program is delivered primarily through email. We obviously can, we set up Zoom meetings and phone calls and things like that. And so if something is an emergency, I don't know what that would necessarily be, but if they really need that, they need to contact their coach and let them know that. But it really is within 72 business hours, and it's usually shorter than that. We say 72 business hours. So for those really, really, really busy times of year, then that gives our coach the ability to really interact and get with all of their students. So that's a great question. That's a great question. Will the parents get the updates of the students' progress with the coach? Absolutely. So all of the emails that are sent out to our students, both the consultants and the family members that are named on the enrollment packet, are all copied on that information. And so you are seeing those emails all along the way. We do ask that our parents and families are involved and don't take a hands-off approach, but they're involved with their students and they're following up and saying, hey, I saw that, Coach Megan sent you the recommendations. What do you think about that? Or did you work on any of that, right? And you are always, as a parent or family member, you always have the ability to reach out to the coach and check in with them as well. So we definitely want you to be a part of that team. And so we keep you informed from the beginning. I'm going to put my information here in the chat line. I cannot really talk and type at the same time. I wish I could. So my name is Megan Penley Pickett. I'm the Dean of Education. And my email is megan.pickett@hife-usa.org. So it's in the chat line. So one of the questions is, can the student change the coach along the way? The short answer is yes. The longer answer is we don't do that very regularly. So when and if that comes up from the family, from the consultant, I dig into that and find out kind of what's going on with that, find out from the coach. Because sometimes what we have happen is, a consultant will say, well, the student said that they're not getting much, out of the program, or the parent thinks that the coach isn't responding to them. And then what happens is that the student just doesn't respond, right? So we want to make sure that the students are responding and engaging. We have some mechanisms in place to do our best to catch it when students are not engaging, so we can catch that before it gets to the point of it really being an issue. So short version is yes, you can change that along the way. It is done at the dean's discretion based on that full picture. Great question. Is there a trial session? We don't offer trial sessions, which is really why, if you're a consultant, we want you to talk with your students about what the program means. We do not expect consultants to be the people who are doing the coaching. That is our coach's responsibility. But talking with them about what does it take to be a part of this program. And I or one of my coaches is happy to be a part of that conversation. If you as a consultant are looking to have conversations with individual clients, with a group of clients, I myself or one of the coaches, we would be happy to get on and talk about the program. That's our area of expertise, right? It's what we live and breathe each and every day. And so if you have a family member who has questions about what does it really mean to be a part of that program, reach out. We can set that up. I do ask for about 48 business hours in advance to be able to set up those conversations, but absolutely we can set those up. And if you are a current, or I'm sorry, if you are a prospective family or student that's on here right now, feel free to send me that email, or you can, you probably found us on our Facebook page, you can send us a message there, and we will be happy to set up a meeting with you to talk more in depth about what does the program entail? What does it mean to truly engage in the program? And what does it take to be successful? We can do that on a one-on-one basis. I think that would be great. So I would welcome that opportunity. What great questions we're getting tonight. Before I forget, because we are getting to the end of our time together, if you check out our Facebook page, so I hope to see some of you over there pretty soon. Again, it's HIFE College Coaching Program, pretty simple. You can find us on there. You're going to see some information about a webinar we're doing tomorrow night. This is open to anyone. This is a public webinar. So it's open to prospective and current families, prospective and current consultants, anyone in your office, those types of things. And so what it's called is COVID-19 in college, so what, now what? And so we have an admissions representative from a private university out here in Colorado that's going to talk with us about what to think about, especially when you're a junior and a senior going into making the decision whether you're going to go onto campus in the fall, if that's a good place for you, and what our juniors, rising seniors need to do to maximize their opportunities. So you don't want to miss that. That's going to be a great opportunity there as well. Do you have a question, Sydney?
Oh yes, Megan. So thank you. Yeah. Quick question, Megan, regarding the option for like, I know if you're gonna be picking up like either the career assessment, college selection, and so on. I understand if you do the comprehensive, which is the $24.95, and after that's gonna be annual of $500, right?
Right.
But how about if you do the portion like optional ones? How's the renewal from there?
There are no, thank you for that. There are no renewals for the options. They're time specific and time bound in that it's the 4 sessions. You can always enroll in another option.
Every single year.
Every single year, because it's only 4 sessions. It doesn't last for a year. So it's only 4 sessions, where the comprehensive program is for a year. The options are only 4 sessions. So there's not, it just speaks to a different person who's like, I just want this focused attention for these 4 sessions. So I'm going to go with this option. For people who want a little bit more attention, that want to dig into some of these topics a little bit deeper, the comprehensive program is a better option for them.
Thanks for clarifying that.
Yeah, absolutely. Great question. So there's a couple of questions on here. How do you assign the coach to the student? And what if the student doesn't feel comfortable? So I assign based on the information that our consultants or the person filling out the enrollment form, if you're doing that as a client directly, based on that, right? And so maybe it's what they're thinking about studying. If they have a preference over gender, if they have a preference, something along those lines, we honor that. So really doing our best and looking at what the coach's caseload currently looks like. And so if they have space, so we can keep to that average, so we can make sure that those students are getting the one-on-one attention that they are signing up for. And so if the student doesn't feel comfortable, again, that goes back to how do we change coaches. So again, we're going to look at that full picture. So if that's a question that someone has, or an issue that they can bring it up to me, and then I will do my investigation, if you will, or information gathering is probably a better way to say that. And then be able to figure out, is it a communication issue? Is it something that can be addressed, that type of thing? And then we'll decide best steps from there. So great question. Couple more on here. How long does it take to get certified as a HIFE consultant and the cost to do so? The cost is $49. Very simple. less than going out to eat, which most of us aren't doing right now anyhow. And so you can do that. You can find that at our website, not at the college coaching, but at hife-usa.org. You can find us there and under that. And it's a self-paced program. So given all of the extra time that people have right now, it could take you a couple of days to go through that. And then we have additional training that you can opt into afterwards if you want. But it's not a very long process to go through that. You do need to enroll one student per year, and your year is from the date that you became a consultant. So it's not a random date. So if you became a consultant today, you would have until whatever today's date, I think it's June 8th. So June 8th of 2021 to enroll a student. If you don't enroll them, the cost is $49 to renew after that year has expired. Would the coach guide student by giving a whole picture of roadmap? Or does the student need to take a lot of initiative to ask questions? So it's both and so we do provide that roadmap. We provide that in the form of monthly emailed recommendations, follow-up emails from the coach, and then we do expect the student to follow those recommendations. If it says go and update your resume, we expect the student to do that. Go and research colleges and report back to your coach. We expect them to do that. So it's a both and then if students have specific questions on something that may not be addressed in the monthly recommendations, or something that comes up, kids talk to their friends or their friends' parents or something like that, absolutely our coach will engage in those conversations as well. A couple more. We're getting a little over time, but these are such great questions. You just talked about a sessions options. Who picks what the 4 sessions covers, or are they standard? So the 4 sessions are going to be based on, so we're talking about the options, not the comprehensive program, but the options. So they are going to be based on what that focus area is. So we have 5 different options. Again, we have career assessment, financial aid navigation, admissions and college selection, admission and college essay, and then post-high school planning. So the sessions are going to cover that specific topic. So it's a little bit decided upon between the coach and the student, but it's really set out by the coach, and then we'll answer the specific questions that the student has. Did the cost of becoming a consultant and the cost of the comprehensive program recently change? We have actually reduced both of the cost of becoming a consultant and the comprehensive program in light of everything that's going on with COVID-19. We want to make sure that as many people in as many communities have access to this information, have this ability, if you're a consultant, to be able to leverage this, to be able to build your business for your family and yourself. And so we did lower those prices for a short time right now. And this program is only in the US. It is not currently in Canada because there are some pieces around it being a referral program versus a direct program in Canada. So everyone, thank you so much. It is after 7 o'clock my time, after whatever hour it is at wherever you are. I so greatly appreciate you all being here, and what great questions. So thank you so much. Again, my name is Megan Penley Pickett. You can email me at megan.pickett@hife-usa.org. I hope you will jump over and like us on Facebook, start getting those updates about all of the resources that are available to you. I hope to see many of you on our webinar tomorrow night. Again, it's a public webinar. It's not just for people who are affiliated with our program right now. We want to push that information out. So thank you all so very much. I wish you continued health and safety during this time and always. Thank you so much. Have a great night. Bye.
Thank you, Megan.
Thank you.